it's Carmiel Marceline. Welcome back to the channel and today's video. Today we are talking about 6 shady species of plants. What are some plants that are going to survive low light conditions? What does low light even mean? Well, it means that your plant isn't getting indirect sunlight at the very least for several hours throughout the day. It could mean that you're wanting to place a plant in your hallway that's about 10, 15 feet away from your east-facing window. All of those apply. All plants need light to survive. And all of these plants, they're going to do pretty well in low light, but they aren't necessarily going to thrive, which means your plant might not grow as fast. If it has variegation, it might lose variegation. If it has big leaves, it might revert back to smaller leaves. So those are some of the implications if you do choose to limit a plant's amount of light. Another thing to consider is that all plants need sunlight in order to photosynthesize, to create its own food to survive. First, we're going to start off with some uncommon plants that I have in my collection that I think are super fun, especially if you're choosing to spice things up. And then we're going to get into more of the common houseplants that are out there. We have Anthuriums, specifically velvet-leafed Anthuriums, such as this one, an Anthurium crystallinum. I'll also show you my Anthurium regale, which has ginormous leaves, like bigger than the size of my face. These are dark colored, which you can obviously tell here, which means it actually requires lower light. These are a little bit finicky, so if you are a beginner houseplant enthusiast, I wouldn't recommend these from the get-go, but if you're a bit more experienced, Anthuriums have rocked my world. And I absolutely love mine. The only tidbit here, you have to ensure that you have high humidity. So I put these in my plant cabinets that maintain humidity at about 80%. You definitely want to go above 70, but you can also put this in a couloche, I think is what it's called. I got mine from IKEA. You can use that. You can use a propagation box. You can even put it in a Ziploc bag. So definitely low light friendly. You just need higher humidity. Next up, we've got a Monstera Peru. I'm gonna show you what it looks like here on the camera. It has beautiful texture on the leaves, and this one actually does better if it's further away from the window. I've made a mistake and I put mine close to the window, which is why it's a little bit light. But if you put it a little further away, it will grow slowly because Monstera Perus are naturally slow growers, but you'll get a darker hue on the leaves. Next up, we have a Philodendron Micans. This is also a velvety leaf. This has been a struggle bus ever since I got her. So don't judge me. Some plants are just hard for me to take care of, but this one has an absolutely beautiful velvet leaf. This should get less sunlight, so maybe I should work on that. But the darker the leaves, usually the more tolerant it is to low light, because it doesn't need as much energy to maintain a certain variegation, and definitely one you can find anywhere. This one's also a big mama. Okay, this is a ZZ plant. This is specifically a ZZ Raven, which means it's got almost black looking leaves. There are other ZZ species out there. You can get a regular ZZ, which is a lighter green color. You could get a variegated ZZ that has a little bit of splashes of yellow. What I've found is the darker the leaf on a plant, the more tolerant it is to low light. And this ZZ specifically hates having super bright light. So the further away from a window, especially if you have east or west or south facing, the better for this plant. Next up, we've got a green Heartleaf Philodendron. I shared this in one of my easy houseplant videos, and if you haven't seen that, I will link it below for you to check out, support. And I talked about how my mom gave this to me, and she actually got it from Trader Joe's, so you can find some pretty banging plants at Trader Joe's, in case you were wondering. But this one, I put it in my north-facing window back when I lived in Long Island City. I put it right next to the window. It was hanging, and it thrived. So this, perfect if you have a bathroom with very low light. It'll do really well. Pothos. I mentioned in one of my previous videos on easy houseplants. They're an invasive species, so they can tolerate really harsh conditions, with an asterisk, of course. But low light conditions work extremely well for this type of plant. For instance, I have a Queen Marble Pothos, and I kid you not, I place it maybe 20 feet away from my east-facing windows on top of my greenhouse without additional grow lights, and she does just fine. Okay, let's say you don't want any of the plants I recommended. Don't worry, I won't be too offended. And you want to put a plant in your space that requires more than just low light. Well, the good news for you is you can supplement the light in your space with artificial grow lights. Artificial grow lights work by converting electrical energy into light particles or photons that plants use to photosynthesize. It essentially mimics what your plant automatically does with natural sunlight. So just another hack for you to think about. There you have it. Those are my 6 shady species of plants that are gonna do okay in low light. As a reminder though, low light does not mean no light. Plants need light to stay alive. Imagine if we didn't have sunlight. I definitely wouldn't be as chipper as I am. Another thing to consider, if you do have a room with no windows, no lighting, think about whether or not you actually want to put a plant there. Will it survive? And if you do want to put a plant there, think about adding grow lights to your space to supplement. And if all else fails, just get a fake plant. It'll look great anyway. And with that, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you so much for spending time with me. It means so much. If you liked today's video, hit that like button. If you want to see more of these videos, hit that subscribe button. And if you have ideas on videos you want to see next, comment down below. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!